One
I
of the
know.
most, you're one of the most understated, funny guys I know, Paul. And I mean that sincerely. And I wanted to wait for this thing to go live before I said that. I'm glad it is. We are live. And I want the world to know Paul Smith Goodson is hilarious. And he does it in a way that some people never even realize, but he is absolutely
There's a
hilarious.
lot of people that don't understand my jokes.
Which is kind of like if nobody gets your humor but you, are you really funny? You know?
I laugh about it. That's all that counts.
Anyway, hey, good morning. We are afternoon, good evening. We are at episode 60 of the More Insights and Strategy Data Center podcast. Episode 60, Paul. Holy heck.
Boy,
We're old.
I don't even feel that old.
I don't feel that. Oh, I do. I feel a little bit older.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are here. We talk all things data center, all things going on in data center, trends, weird happenings, news events, all that neat stuff. We're here to talk about it. But before we get into what we talk about, let us stress that what Paul says and what Matt says is to be taken as an information exchange, not to be taken for advice on your investment portfolio or strategy. And if it is, shame on you, because we're both working at our advanced ages, which means we don't do a good job of investing. So do not take anything we say as investment advice. Is that fair
I
to say?
took my own advice and it didn't work out very well. So
There you go. Hey, so we are going to talk about space-based data centers. That's actually tough on the tongue. And then AMD and their advancing AI event last week. Hint, hint, EPYC is, yeah. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, Paul. Are you ready for this?
well, we can try it. What do you think?
I'm ready, man. You're gonna start us off with your space-based data centers.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
that's
there's been
hard.
a lot of talk about having data centers in space and everything. There's some advantages and a lot of disadvantages of having it. But when it comes to AI, I mean, AI is it's in the trajectory for humanity at some point, I think. Most experts believe that it's possible to have an AI that's super intelligent. It's probably going to take us a decade or more, but at the same time, it could happen overnight, the way things go,
Mm-hmm.
Like Anthropic's wild AI that went on a rampage, breaking into everybody else's code. I mean, things like that happen with AI, and we need to really be careful with it. But when we get serious about building, on the road to building super intelligence, we need to plan out where we're going to have it. Earth would be a good place to build it in terms of convenience and being able to, go in and work with it and, replace any problems that come up. But being on Earth, if you understand what superintelligence is in terms of AI, it can be very dangerous. I mean, it's smarter than we are by orders of magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that once we build it, we're going to have a containment for it because it's so smart. But there's two really important pieces to it. One is being able to create it in the first place, and the second is we have to be able to dismantle it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a large batch of research out there that says that once you build a super intelligent model, you won't be able to stop it. You won't be able to dismantle it. So that's why I say it's important. We have to create it, and then we have to be able to dismantle it before we start playing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
If we can't dismantle it, then obviously we don't want some wild AI running around the globe doing all kinds of things, and we're going to have to destroy it. So the best place to destroy it would be where? Not on Earth, but in space, right? So that's one of the reasons I think that we should really take a really close look at a space-based AI, and I think we should figure out how we're going to build it before we actually go in and try and build it. They're saying that there's a lot of mind-blowing things, examples that what AI can do. If you give it an idea, for instance, this is coming from one of the research papers, and you give super intelligent AI an idea of a completely novel concept, game or an environment or whatever. It will go through, and if it's on like a company, it will develop all the business plan, do all the negotiations, put all the pieces together, run it for you. It'll do that all on its own. It probably can do it a lot faster than we can. So we have to be close enough to be able to manage that. And if we can't destroy it, if we can't control it, then we need to destroy it. So,
Paul, I am getting shades of the Terminator meets Star Wars for some reason.
I think it's all of that and more.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Yeah, what I'm talking about, it comes out of a lot of research papers that a lot of smart people have written. And
let me ask you though. Hold on, let me ask you counter to this, okay? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to get the other side to this. So, a lot of smart people are writing papers about this and warning, right? But there are also a lot of smart people are saying we have to take this thing out to space. What's the counter to? What's the driver? The counter to the you've got to be able to destroy these systems, as fast as you build them.
Yeah. I don't. It can it'll be able to do things so fast and so widespread that probably a couple of milliseconds or a few seconds is going to make the difference between a threat to humanity and our ability to control it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I read it. And even I think you've probably seen the article that came out that thousands of the AI employees are saying that you're petitioning the government to restrict development of AI to a large degree.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
At the same time, if we don't do it, China's going to do it. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the way to get the world back together again, cooperating all together. But I doubt it. So we may have to just do it to protect ourselves,
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of scary.
There's three options in terms of space. I'm not going to go into all the issues and stuff, but there's low Earth orbit, high Earth orbit. Could do it on Earth, of course. And then there's, do you remember when they put the James Webb Telescope up?
Yeah, yeah.
There's Lagrange points. These are not gravity wells, and they're protected from. They've always got one side where the Earth and Moon and Sun are, and always one side where it's always cold.
Yeah.
So the problem there is, you start building stuff, you basically have to build a manufacturing plant right in space because you can't get out there and replace everything. So,
well, and if you are a believer in Elon Musk and a fan of Elon Musk, a lot of what you're saying is a lot of what he's thinking, right? When it comes to not just space exploration, but colonization and kind of, it goes beyond just send a shuttle up or go explore. It's established as well, which is fascinating to me.
Earth is it's the ultimate environment for low latency and real-time AI workloads, and human interaction, and we got to do maintenance. I mean, it's right here, but it's just once it kicks over and makes the transition from just a plain old AI to super intelligence, if we're not in the right spot with the right controls and the right containment, we're going to be in trouble.
Man, you know what? I don't know that I want to talk with you anymore. I always you scare me when we chat. Just want you to know that.
Yeah.
I truly have visions of Darth Vader meets Arnold Schwarzenegger meets, I don't know.
If there was any way to forget what we know about AI and at least the upper end of it, I think I would be in favor of it, But,
I'm with you. All right, let's transition into advancing AI. Speaking of AI, advancing AI last week was the AMD event that took place in San Francisco. And
boy, I was impressed with Lisa Su and her. I mean, she did a great job.
Yeah, she's amazing. It's funny because you see these CEOs, whether it's Lisa or Michael Dell, or at NVIDIA, it's Jensen Huang, and they get up and they talk for an hour or they talk for 2 hours and they just go, and it's and there's so much in there that they're talking about that it's not it's not like they're reading from a teleprompter and have a script and they're fun. Yes, they have talking points, but the way they're able to craft their story, carry their story, and kind of interject, it's it's fascinating.
I can get up and go to the kitchen and get a cup of coffee and forget what I went in there for.
Yeah.
And these guys go for an hour. Amazing.
Yeah. It's impressive. But it was a great event. Lisa did a fantastic keynote, and there are a couple of things that came out of that, and it's normal, right? But when you go to an AI event now, and this is thanks to NVIDIA, you immediately think GPU, right? And kind of rack scale GPU. And that was certainly on display. The MI455, the Helios rack scale solution that includes Instinct, EPYC, Pensando for networking, and ties it all together with software. Fantastic storytelling. But what came out of that for me was what AMD is doing with EPYC. It's the discussion has moved so far away from the CPU over the last couple of years, and AMD came out at Advancing AI and just it reasserted EPYC as the critical part of the AI equation. Now, a little context: at the beginning of last week, NVIDIA did launched a couple of pieces on its own CPU called Vera to demonstrate that Vera is a CPU that stands alone from Rubin or stands alone from the GPU and does workloads like analytics and HPC really well. And it made a strong case for its architecture, its monolithic architecture, its memory architecture, to demonstrate how performance is improved across its 88 Olympus cores. It did a great job, and it demonstrated benchmarking relative to the last generation of EPYC to show how strong it is. I think AMD took that as a challenge because it came out with in its messaging with EPYC, 6th generation EPYC, codenamed Venice, and really just kind of hammered home how impressive that part is, demonstrating raw performance advantages, optimized performance advantages, meaning like performance per watt, performance per core, memory throughput advantages over Vera and over the field. And it did so in a very convincing fashion and demonstrated how the CPU now is more critical to the AI equation than ever. What it also did, which I thought was really interesting, is it went in and it made clear that, and when I say it, I mean AMD made clear that Vera, in a way, it did a favor to NVIDIA because it made Vera a legitimate competitor to EPYC. More so, you could argue, than it did Xeon from Intel, which owns, which has the largest enterprise footprint. But because it focused on Vera so much and focused on performance advantages so much, it really gave credibility to Vera that NVIDIA couldn't have paid for, which I thought was really interesting. But there's an argument that's going on in the market, and I just want to get this out before you jump in. For all of the goodness around EPYC, and there is a lot, and I wrote about this. There is this discussion that's going on among analysts and among the industry about, about this being an argument between x86 versus ARM. And I have to say that is an old and tired argument. How one can look at ARM as still emerging and needing to create credibility is absolutely crazy. It's over half of the deployments in AWS. It is scaling at like unprecedented levels at Azure. It's being deployed everywhere in Google Cloud. Oracle's deployed it. It's Vera, ARM's AGI CPU. These are not fighting for credibility. They're credible. And if you are saying, well, maybe there's an argument to be had for x86 because of that, forget about that. This is not an ICE discussion anymore. This is a performance per core, a performance per watt, and a performance per dollar discussion. It's not a x86 versus ARM anymore.
The way I say, it's not a vendor issue. It's kind of fundamental architectural issue about how do you run agentic AI,
Yes. Yep. Yes. It is. And, when you look at agentic AI and you think about agentic AI at scale, and you think about the layer of orchestration required and the amount of contextual reference that's needed for that orchestration to take place, there are legitimate arguments to be made for Vera. There are legitimate arguments to be made for ARM AGI CPU. There are legitimate arguments for EPYC and Xeon as well. And that has to be kept in mind. Every company is unique. Every company's use cases are unique and deployment scenarios are unique. And you really have to look at this based on your specific needs, not a billboard sign that says Vera is best because it's from NVIDIA, or EPYC is best because it's AMD, or ARM or AGI CPU is best because ARM is the originator of the ARM architecture, or RISC, or Xeon's best because you've been using it forever. You got to look at AI with a clean sheet approach and architect based on that.
Yeah. So, what's the future of agentic AI? Is it core speed or socket level capacity, or are you buying CPUs for single agent latency, or is it some type of fleet level agency density type of thing?
The key for agentic, it's about memory, the memory to core relationship, in the core to core connectivity. Mm-hmm. The big argument that Vera makes, and it's legitimate, is because NVIDIA does not use a chiplet architecture with regard to its compute die. It uses chiplets around it, right? But because its core die is monolithic, you're not requiring on a core-to-core interconnect. As fast as that fabric may be, you're not relying on that for core-to-core communications, right? And that shortens your path. It's a physics argument, it shortens your path, makes a more direct path. All of those things that factors that go into faster core-to-core communications. And they've architected the memory to core to CPU relationship or compute relationship in a way that is faster, shorter, with bigger bandwidth, right? So again, it's a physics argument, and that is their argument around what they're doing.
NVIDIA says the only thing that really matters is core latency and single thread speed to them. So.
Right. And what AMD argues is there's truth to that. And by the way, we account for that, and we have this thing called Vcache, which also supports. So there are different ways to address the agentic AI play. And I think you're not, everybody has a benchmark that supports them. You're not going to know until you see real world deployments providing real world performance feedback, right? And that's the biggest challenge. NVIDIA cited spec, this new spec benchmark, spec 2026, which accounts for this more comprehensively. AMD came back with their own benchmarking that accounts for it. What really matters is that enterprise organization that's deploying, what are they seeing in one versus the other for their specific deployment of agentic? And that's what we're going to figure out. And how distributed is agentic? And do you understand that agentic, when you spawn an agent, it's gonna in turn spawn multiple sub agents, and there's this proliferation, and therefore your core count does start to count over time. There are all of these considerations that have to come into play that really have not been explored deep enough yet to say, yay, verily, it's this versus that. And I don't think there'll ever be an argument for this versus that. It's going to be this versus that dependent on, right? Or this versus that if, or, and kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll shut up. Sorry. I can go on forever about this stuff, Paul.
So anyway, I don't know if I asked you enough. Are we buying CPUs now for single agent latency, or are we looking at plate level density, or what?
No, you've got to be looking at CPUs, not for not for a single agent latency. You've got to be looking at CPUs for the distributed and the explosion of agents that's going to happen just to support a single workload. Again, it all goes back to what workload are you running and how does it play out, right? And you'll probably be a mix of both, right? But yeah, this goes beyond just a single agent to a single core.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff.
I tell you, I'm still amazed by. I mean, I love that presentation.
Yeah.
And I like the idea. I mean, we've got a new hardware class now, Agent Sandbox.
Agent Sandbox. I'll tell you what, the big, this goes beyond EPYC and versus Vera, or EPYC versus Xeon. But to me, the bigger take out of all of this is that this like enterprise AI game, it is so vibrant, and there is no winner take all kind of play here. Every company is going to have a play. NVIDIA obviously has a huge play. AMD obviously has a huge play. Intel has a huge play with Xeon and what it's doing and how it's accelerated inference inside of Xeon with its AMX. ARM has a huge play with AGI CPU. Even on the risk side, you have companies like Sci5 coming out, right? There are so many, Tensor, there are so many different companies that have a play in this, delivering enterprise AI, that it's not a one company rules. It's not a monopoly, or you could argue it kind of is today, but it's not going to be, and it's not going to be a duopoly. It's going to be an all of the above. Cerebrus. I mean, there's so many companies out there doing so many cool. There's another company out there called Furiosa AI. They're a company out of South Korea, and they have a product called Renegade. It's a air-cooled inference chip that is really designed for the commercial enterprise. It's very akin to what AMD has with its MI350P. PCIe slot, drop it in your PCIe slot, air-cooled, delivers great inference at a very low power threshold, fully air-cooled. You don't have to go reconfigure your entire rack to make these things run. Those are the types of companies and chips at Renegade that 5 years from now, when commercial enterprise is deploying this, is deploying inference or activating inference, those are the types of technologies that are going to take off because they're the technologies that can be deployed in existing infrastructure without having to invest your entire budget on a single new rack of GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Yeah, I mentioned there was one point, I think it was your article. If it wasn't, I apologize. But the AMD was trying to argue that the x86 was a moat because so much software runs on it. But I think you said it wasn't. Is that right?
I wholeheartedly disagree with that. That is my article. They said two things that I would disagree with. One, that x86 is a moat. If you're talking about even in virtualized environments, x86 is no longer a moat. It might have inertia, but it's not a moat in that you can't. CUDA is a moat in that when you invest in CUDA, it's very hard to move away from. There is so much tooling out there now that has removed that moat kind of aspect to x86, especially in the cloud era. Part one. Part two, they leaned heavily into heterogeneous compute. And they talked about heterogeneous compute, meaning AMD CPUs, AMD GPUs, AMD DPUs all working together. To me, that's not heterogeneous because it's all the same. It's silicon from the same company. That's vertical integration.
Yeah.
Heterogeneous is running AMD alongside Cerebras, like they announced. It's running AMD alongside NVIDIA. It's different silicon from different vendors being run to meet the needs of a workload. That to me is heterogeneous. And I think that has a huge play in the future. And we need to see a control plane that can help manage that environment for you.
Yeah. I think you said Venice doesn't need an x86 defense mode anyway. So.
What's that?
I said, I think you said that Venice doesn't need an x86 defense mode.
It doesn't. It does great on its own. It stands on its own. You don't have to hide behind, I think hiding behind the, hey, you've used this forever, you should use it in the future, is kind of a weak argument. And it's an argument you use when you're in a position of weakness. Venice is not in a position of weakness. In that, for anybody that is on the front end of deploying infrastructure, they know that argument doesn't hold anymore. So I would if I were advising from afar, I would tell AMD to be confident in what Venice is and don't worry about that moat argument because it doesn't hold water anyway. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
No, it was a really good article. I think if you haven't, people haven't read it, I think they should read it because it brings out some really strong points. So.
Thank you, Paul. Hey, so what do you got going on over the next few weeks? We're in the heart of summer down here in Texas, where it's 100 degrees every day. What's going on in Paul Smith Goodson's world?
Well, not too far from you. I'm in Cedar Park, by the way. So I can see the sun when you do. Yeah. Well,
it depends, man. The way the microclimates can be around here, I might be seeing the sun while you're seeing the clouds.
Yeah. But I've got a couple. I've been working. Believe it or not, I've got a paper I've been working on since 2023. Wow. I started it in 2023, and it's just now coming to the point where it's actually an issue. So I talked to Pat about it back then, and probably had half of it written, and decided it wasn't really the time wasn't right for it. So
let me stop you right there, Paul. For those who are watching, the kind of work that Paul Smith Goodson does, and I mean this sincerely, he is so far in front of where the industry is that he often has to wait for the industry to catch up to what he works. It's true.
I wasn't going for that, but thank you.
But it's true. You are so far out in front, and like you're in rarefied air. There are very few people, and certainly you can count on maybe one digit, never mind one hand, how many analysts can claim that. But it's impressive.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So anyway, I've got that going on, and the other things. So
Right on. I don't have much going on. I got a lot of writing to do, but VMware Explorer is coming up in August, as Hot Chips is coming up. I think Hot Chips is in September, but there's quite a, there are some industry shows coming up that are going to be exciting and fun to watch that I'll be going to. But
I'm working on a fun article. Basically, it is what type of people use one monitor, what type of people use two monitors, and what type of people use three.
oh wow, okay. What type do you align these to, like mental illnesses, like a psychopath uses three?
Yeah, not quite that deep, but it could go that deep, But yeah, no, I think I just kind of got it outlined. It'll be a fun article. It doesn't have anything to do with software.
What's your thesis here, or what's your
how do you think? How do you look at problems? What's your perception when you read about a problem? Are you a one monitor person that kind of focuses in on a few details, or do you have the big picture, or do you just like to copy things from one place and paste it to another?
How many monitors do you have?
4.
Noticeably out of your article.
So I didn't go to 4. I wanted to keep it focused on other people and not me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I have my obviously my MacBook monitor, and then I have a larger monitor. I've been thinking about going to a second large monitor for more real estate. I'm not sure kind of what to do, because then I'm like, well, maybe I need a bigger desk. And with the Mac, you've got 3 USB-C ports, right? Plus an HDMI. And I've used those USB hubs in the past, or where you can plug multiple monitors in. It doesn't seem as responsive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But you use 4? Are they stacked, or?
I've got like 3 panoramic, and then I've got one on top of the middle monitor.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I think that might be psychopath territory, for what it's worth.
Yeah, it could be.
But you're the nicest psychopath I know.
Yeah. You get bored, you can make a complete circle with your cursor, going around these monitors. So
I love it. Hey, with that said, we've got a cut out here. Our backstage monitor, our producer, is telling us that we're over. This was a really fun conversation, and I can't wait to do this again in a couple weeks. Please like and subscribe if you're watching this. Share this with your friends, and remember, everything we say, it's entertainment purposes only, educated entertainment, if you will, not for investment purposes. So please don't take anything we say as advice to go spend your life savings on some company or another.
yeah.
With that said, thank you. And Paul, I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, hang in there.
Thank you.
See you.